Hello and welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. I'm Rita and I wanted to begin today's video with a very happy new year. I hope that 2025 will be a good year for you, and I am excited about 2025 as we have a lot of fun things planned for that year. Now today I wanted to show you a card I made using these two items and more. So before we get into the card making, just quickly I wanted to share with you that I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I use 95% of Stampin' Up! Products in my paper crafting. I'm also love to share with you my designs, my creations, hoping that that will inspire you to create and to share your creation. So that's my goal. And my product, as I shared with you, I use 95% of the Stampin' Up! Product. This is the catalog, the main catalog. The product can be found in, can be purchased from. You can get to my catalog, my virtual catalog, by going to Rita's Paper Motif. There on the home page, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll find any current catalog. I'm telling you this because next week, on January 6th, we will be adding 2 new catalogs to this catalog. We'll be having the new mini catalog or seasonal catalog that runs for a short period of time at the first of the year. And then we'll have another catalog. It's called Celebration. Celebration is something that I think most of us kind of look forward to, because if you make a qualifying purchase from either the annual catalog or the mini catalog, then you can select some free product from the Celebration brochure. And so you could select designer series paper, you could select stamps, whatever is being offered. If you've made that qualifying purchase of either $60 or there's a more product that's available, if your purchase adds up to $120, and that's before taxes and shipping, then you can choose some more products. So it's really a win-win. If you're going to make purchases out of either catalog, the mini or the annual, then you get rewarded with free product. I don't know about you, but free is usually a very good thing. Anyway, so I just wanted to let you know, if you feel that, excuse me, if you feel that you'd like this physical catalog and you don't have a demonstrator that you work with, I'd be more than happy to send you a complimentary catalog. Just let me know that you need one, and we'll take it from there. All right. You can also, though, I wanted to be sure to reiterate that you can also get to the catalogs by going to ritaspapermotif.com. And while we're talking about the website, we'll just get this out of the way before we begin our little tutorial here. You can find everything that's going on in sales, specials, events. You can even shop at my website. Plus, when I blog the tutorials of any card I've made, so that you can feel free to case that. And by case, I mean copy and share. So let's get going now. So when I'm creating my cards, or even scrapbook pages, because I love to scrapbook as well, I usually start with 2 items. I start with the stamp set I'm going to want to use, and you know, there's usually something in the stamp set that attracts me to that stamp set. So this is the main one we're going to use today. And what attracted me to this stamp set was the word hey. Not necessarily the word hey, but I like that it's big and chunky, and once it's stamped, it really commands attention. And so I like that. I also like that it has a variety I don't know what's wrong with my words today, but it has a variety of sentiments that you can use in conjunction with the hay or even without the hay to create a thank you card, a birthday card, an I love you, I miss you. So there's just a variety of sentiments that you can use. So if I were just starting out and I have a budget, as we all do, wherever we are in our paper crafting journey, this type of stamp set would be cause for thought, because it's going to give me more mileage for my buck, right? So we're going to use this mostly today. I'm going to bring in some other stamps as well, but this is found in the annual catalog. I often will look at designer series paper, or I'll think about what is it when you look at my card that I want to use that's going to draw your eye. So that would either be a very, sorry, I'm having trouble getting these out here, a very awesome card sketch, or it would be some awesome designer series paper, or even I like to sometimes make my own designer series paper by taking images from my stamp sets and stamping it on, say, some basic white or even tone on tone, and that just gives interest to that very top layer of the card. Also, you can embossing that layer is another way to give it texture and draw attention to it. But I decided I wanted to use this designer series paper. This is called Fun of Life. It is in the annual catalog. It comes along with a collection, but you can, even though we have collections, you can buy them separately. So just know that. But what I like about this designer series paper is it has 4 of each design, so 4 sheets of each design, and it gives you a variety of designs, of course, that you can choose from, and they are different colors. They're very festive, so that's a fun thing. And you can see that they're all different, definitely all different. And I just want to show you these, so just bear with me for a moment. I do see kind of a pattern. I'll see that these rectangles, and then I'll see here they're a bit bigger. I see these like circles or bubbles, and then here's some that are a bit bigger. And then, you know, just a different, like a sunburst pattern there. So I think that I've shown you most of them. But what's great about our designer series paper is that not only is it beautiful on one side, but they're double-sided, and so you'll have another option to create a beautiful card. So they're all double-sided, so if you don't like one side, you can like another. And then, you know, they also come, so take, for example, this side of the designer series paper. You could, if you're die cutting or cutting, you could cut it in any way you wanted to get whichever design, or whatever way you want to get these colors. You could manipulate that by how you cut it or punch it. So just showing you the opposite side so you have an idea. This is kind of like a water brush switch off in colors there. But I did choose a design for our card today, and actually I'm going to show you the sample of the card. Now, we're going to make this, we're going to add something to it, but this is the card I made using that designer series paper. I just put it away. Don't know why I did that, but just using this sheet of designer series paper and cutting it to make it the top layer of my card. So that's what we're going to do today. Thank you for joining me, and while I'm getting out my trimmer as we begin our card, I did also want to share that I'd be more than happy for you to join me on my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and to hit that icon so that you'll be notified when I upload new content. All right, so I started out with a sheet of basic white cardstock. This is the thick. We have a couple of white cardstocks. We have the willow white, which comes in 12 by 12. We have the basic white thick and then the basic white. When I'm using the white for card bases, I do like the thick. And I am going to experiment with a white willow. It is more of a white than the basic white, and I'll show you that in another video. But today I wanted to make a top folding card, which means that the fold is going to be at the top of the card. Now, this is considered an A2 size card, and you definitely can make it in two ways. This is the way I'm going to make this card. So I'm going to, and I'm moving my trimmer just so that I can see it and so that you can see it. And I'm going to line up my cardstock right here up at the top. I want to make sure that this is flush with this ridge right here. And I'm going to score it. Now we do have a scoring board, a Simply Scored, if you favor the scoreboards for your scoring challenges. But we also have this trimmer that does two things. It scores with the light blade and cuts with the dark blade. So when I'm making my cards, I just go ahead and cut the whole sheet. And then if I need to start over or if I want to make an additional card, I'll have that card base. And I always use my card bases so they don't go to waste. So it's not a wastage for me. But I'm going to make sure this is lined up. I'm lining it with the 5.5 mark. And I'm going to go ahead and use my light blade here to score it. And so what that does is it scores right down the middle. Now again, remember I said you could use your Simply Score board if you want to. I do have a scoreboard. I don't have the Simply Scored scoreboard because I really do prefer using my trimmer, but there have been instances when the trimmer is not, it just would be better to use a scoreboard. So I do have a memory keeper scoreboard that I will pull out if I need to, but that doesn't happen very often. So now I'm going to so we've scored it at the 5.5 mark with the 11-inch side facing upward. We're going to rotate this and we're going to line this left side up with the 4.25. So here's the 4-inch mark, and trying not to get my head in the way. Here's the 4.25. We're going to make sure that this is flush with this ridge now. We're going to move, well, sometimes mine falls out. I actually have dropped my trimmer so many times, I'm surprised it hasn't given up the ghost. But these are very durable and they're wonderful. They have an arm that extends a little over 17 inches. So when I'm scrapbooking, I'm taken care of. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check one more time since I've been chatting here. I want to make sure that this is at 4.25 and that it's flush and that it's straight. And I'm going to go ahead and slice. Now that will give me two card bases, two top folding card bases. And then I can put my trimmer over here. I'm going to take my bone folder. And this is just kind of how I prepare when I'm doing my cards. I just kind of get this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and fold my card over. And I am checking here to make sure that they're flush. Because if I did score a little bit off, now I could correct it. Once I use my bone folder, you can still correct it, but it might be obvious. So I'm just making sure that they're flush. I'm going to lay it down on my handy dandy new glass mat. and I'm just going to take my bone folder and I'm going to varnish that fold line. And so a bone folder is something you want to have in your craft space. So if you're just starting out, know that that is kind of that's pretty important. All right, so we've got our card base. This is called an A2 size card base. I'm going to put this over to the side and I'll use it for another card. I'm going to put this to the side. Now I do have some parts that I've already cut out for the card, and I don't want to recut them because that would be a waste. But some things we are going to do together. So this is that part of the designer series paper that I showed you. Let's see, what did I do with it? So it was a 6x6, right? And I looked to see what colors I wanted. So remember I said the first thing is the stamp set. I decide on stamp set, and or the first thing would be the designer series paper. In this case, it was the stamp set that was first, and then the designer series paper second. So I chose this pattern, and I wanted the purple only because it's my favorite color. But you could really choose any side to begin with that you wanted to. So I put this in my trimmer, and this measures 3 3/4 by 5. And the reason I cut those measurements is because I want to layer this on some, this is Gorgeous Grape, on some, actually, I'm sorry, this is Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to layer this designer series paper right on here. And I'm cut this at 4 by 5 1/4, and that will give me this little tiny margin here. Now you can always edit your cuts, so if you wanted a bigger margin or you wanted, you know, you can just edit it, right? And so I'm going to take my liquid glue. I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. I am using liquid glue for video purposes because the beauty of the liquid glue is that it gives you just a little bit of time to manipulate whatever you're sticking, whatever you're adhering. For a second, it gives you that time to manipulate it. So while we're doing video, it is kind of hard to make sure things that are perfectly straight because we're looking with the camera in our way or we're looking sideways. So I'm going to do my very best with that in mind. I'm going to do my very best to get this straight. And let's see here. It does kind of bug me when it's off a lot. So just please be patient. I just don't want it to be off. And you have that time if you need to pull it up. If you do it quickly, you can do that. If you wait too long, then it's stuck because our glue really does stick well. So I'm going to pull it aside so I don't have to fumble with this because, like I said, it does bug me if it's not straight. So let's see here. So I did tell you that that was my handy dandy new mat, and I used to craft on a different mat, and I loved it. But here's the thing, I'm having issues here. Just a second. I wanted this glass mat. I just wasn't sure the glare from the cameras, how that would be on the mat. So I kind of just like toyed with it, and then when we had a free shipping day, I went for it. So okay, so we're going to now glue this on the base of our card. And I do like to just get things out of the way. So sometimes I'll stamp first before I do all of this. And but most often I just get what I can get done. And again, I'm going to pull this closer to me because I'm not 100% happy with how I adhered that layer, but I just can't fuss with it anymore. So, but when you're making your cards, you'll have it so that you can see it. And I would still send this card. It's not that off. All right. So now we have our card that is going to dry. I'm looking for my bone folder here. I'm also going to be sharing with you on some videos how I've found organizational things that help me in my craft room. So I wanted to just take a minute about this glass mat. So this is new. Like I said, I did use a black mat. It was like, it has all the squares and the measurements, which helps when we're creating. The thing of it is if I did get some adhesive on it, I would have to like kind of really scrub it. So when I saw these, I kind of watched other crafters using this glass mat. And, I liked it. And then when it was free shipping, I said, I'm going for it. So I do like it. I like that I can wash it off if I get ink on it. I just have either my chamois or a paper towel, and I just wipe it off. And so it's very easy to use, and I love it. It comes with this little, it's like plastic little tray, I guess you would call it. So you could put your things in here if you wanted to. You could use it if you're painting. You could mix your colors. I usually use an acrylic block when I'm watercoloring, and so we don't know about that. But this would be great for, putting your crafting things on it and keeping them organized. So there's that. And then this actually is dry. I've not wet it, but it's my understanding that it becomes like a cloth to wipe off while you're crafting. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you're on the fence about a mat, hopefully that helps. All right, so we have our base card. Now let's work on decorating that card. And this is the card we're creating, right? So we're going to stamp hay on a scrap piece of cardstock. Now, I've already done those, but I want to do one with you because I want to show you how it's done. All right, so I'll take a scrap piece of paper of cardstock, and I'll get my acrylic block, and then we're going to get the hey you. So let's see. I have short hands, short arms, so stretching over for my block sometimes is an issue. But we're going to go ahead and get the hay stamp out of here. And I have really used this stamp so much, it's really becoming, it's getting a lot of mileage. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Usually I'll put it down like this and then just put my acrylic block on it and it adheres. And then I'm just going to use my Memento Black or Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Now, I really want the hay to be dark and bold. I want it to command attention because it's competing with this beautiful designer series paper. So let's go ahead and do that. And I think I've inked it up. Let's go ahead and I'm going to stamp it here. And why it's great to stamp first is because we're going to use our perennial postage dies to cut this out. Let me just clean my stamp because I don't want to put it away dirty. So I'll use my chamois to clean that. And then I would take my perennial postage dies. I would take this one right here. And I would just use some, I actually am using up some washi tape. I would use the washi tape and secure the die on this paper, and then I would go ahead and run it through my die cutting machine. Now, I'll tell you why I stamp first and then die cut, because if you get your sentiment just a little bit crooked, you can always manipulate the die so that it then becomes straight, right? Well, I've already done this, so we're not going to need to die cut it, and I've already done it, like I said. And so you can see that perennial postage. I really like the edges. They look like the edge of a stamp, right? So we're going to put that up here. We're going to be using it. And then when I was thinking about my card, I thought, well, there's a lot of right angles on this card. I think I want to just add something different. And I knew, looking at all the colors, that I probably was not going to be using a lot of embellishments because it's got a lot of movement already. So I thought I might draw some interest by using a circle for the sentiment that I want to go with hay. And so I did use the word hue, you, out of the Love for You stamp set. Now this is also in the annual catalog. And the For You stamp, it has dies that go with it. The For You stamp comes connected, as you can see. But here's what I do. I take my acrylic block and I'll set this down, and I only get the, this also is nice because things stick to it. Okay, I get the U and I just put it on the edge of my acrylic block. You could put it on the whole part of the block if you wanted to, but I just do this way. There is a little bit of a gap between the word for and you, and then I will just go ahead and ink up that word you. And so I'll turn my stamp pad and I'll just ink up you. Tap, tap, tap. Now it is definitely very hard to not get any ink on that part of the for, but you can take your chamois, you can take a Q-tip, and you can just make sure you wipe it. Now I don't have any, but you could make sure you wipe it, and I do keep all of those in my craft space. I keep the cotton swabs and of course paper towel. I try not to use a lot of baby wipes on my photopolymer stamps because usually the chamois will take care of it. But when you say, I never say never, because sometimes you do need it. So then I'll go ahead and stamp the word you on here. And then, well, I didn't stamp that so good. Let's try it again. And this is why I like to stamp first, because if none of us are perfect, and so if you make a mistake, you can correct it. If you haven't, you could flip the circle around and try it again, but this to me is easier. So I'm going to move it up. I forgot that I was cutting a circle there. All right, so we're pretty much through with our stamping for this card. Now I will take, you could take a die, a circle die. You could any circle die that you have, you could use that to get the U in a circle. But what I did is I took my punch. I save my punches. I never get rid of them. And I just line it up, and then I can go ahead and just cut out that U. And the other good thing about doing it this way is if, you know, I got this wasn't perfect, but the problem, I couldn't use it because the dangling part of the Y was below the paper, so I wouldn't have had a circle. Whereas with this one, I have a circle. Anyway, so I had already done one, but I just wanted to show you how I do that. And so again, when you're starting out, you might not have those punches, but as you build up your inventory, remember that punches can be invaluable sometimes. So let me just kind of clean off a little bit here. Let's go ahead and add these two things to our card that we already started to create. And what did I do with it? Oh my gosh. You know, I haven't done a video for a while, so I hate to say it, but here we go. All right. So I did want to do something with, I didn't want, when I did this card, I felt like it was missing something, some sort of embellishment. But like I said, you know, it's already got a lot of movement. So here's what I decided. You know, that we have this twine. It comes in a 4-pack. I thought that I might just add some twine. And then that would give it just enough texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread out my 4 fingers. And I'm just going to, it doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. And I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to put it behind that sentiment that says, hey. So let's go ahead and do that. And these you can find, like I said, a 4-pack in my online store. When I'm crafting, here's what I've found is that embellishing your card is not only just with gems. It can be twine, it could be ribbon, it could be any of those things. So I want this to go under that sentiment that says, hey. And so I'm just going to overlap it like that. But I want this to stick while I am getting this ready. So there's a variety of things that you can use to stick that down. You could use a dimensional. You could, you know, there's just a variety. You could even use household Scotch tape if you wanted to. What I'm going to do is we have this, what we call tear tape. So it's double-sided tape. I'm just going to tear off a little piece. And I'm going to put it across the twine. And that will stabilize it. And then I'm going to use dimensionals on my sentiment here. And so I have to get those, of course. And so here we go with that. And our dimensionals, I have to open a pack. Our dimensionals come just like this. We have the standard dimensionals, we have mini dimensionals, and we have black, the black dimensionals. Now, these are really just a foam cut into shapes. They're octagon shapes. And then they're very easy to use. I just kind of pull it there so that one comes out. And then I'm going to stick these dimensionals onto my sentiment strip here. I'm going to put them in the corner. Boy, I really got this one, huh? I'll tell you what, I was really off. So, the thing that I wanted to say about the dimensionals is they're relatively inexpensive, and I try to use enough so that my sentiment is stabilized, because these cards all go through a meter at the post office, and if you don't want it to come out kind of like wonky, then you need to stabilize it. So I'm going to go ahead and peel off the backs of these dimensionals. And then we'll put it over that twine. So just to get this straight is a little easier because you can just follow the lines on the designer series paper, right? And now we have this. So you'll have the choice if you want to put that on dimensionals as well, or if you want to just glue, just adhere it. I'm going to just adhere it because I already have dimensionals on that, and so it will lay better, and I don't want it. I'll have to put double dimensionals on this so that it's even if I do put dimensionals on this. So I'm just going to kind of stick it up a little bit here. I want to get it straight, and there we go. So now I have that card. Now I'm not going to stamp on the inside, but you have a variety of things that you could put on the inside. With that stamp set, you could put, so it says, hey you could put thanks, you could put I miss you, which is what I'm going to do because I'm sending this to a friend. Well, let's go ahead and stamp it so it'll be done. So I'll get the I miss you stamp from here. Let's see, it's kind of a double one, so I don't think it's going to fit on here. Oh, it will. Okay. So on the inside, I'm just going to stamp I miss you. And I'm so thankful that you're all patient. I haven't actually done a video for a couple of weeks. I was quite busy between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I feel kind of like I'm starting all over. So just bear with me. All right, so I am going to stamp this off because I've not used that stamp before, and I want to make sure I've got, see, it needs more ink there. So that's by stamping it off, you kind of take care of that. And we'll just tap, tap, tap. The other thing that you can do is you can definitely use your piercing mat, which is like a cushion, and that does help to get a better stamped image. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp it, and I like to put mine just down here a little bit. So let's see. The thing is, all right, here we go. And so it does say, I miss you. It says, I miss your face. And that is something that I could say to my good friend. We haven't had a chance to like go to lunch and stuff for a while. So she would definitely like that. Now you could also decorate, because this is the part when I cut this 3 3/4 by, I'm sorry, 3 3/4 by 5, a layer of the DSP, I had this left over. So you could cut it and decorate the bottom, but I'm going to show you what I like to do. I like to take my envelope, and this is the back that folds over, right? We don't need this. Let me move it. So this folds over, and what I like to do is just take some adhesive, and I'll just put it on that flap. And again, the glue, you only need a little bit. The glue and I have had issues because I tend to get heavy-handed with that glue, and it gets messy when you do that. So then I'm just going to take, and I'll fold this down, and I will take my designer series paper, and I'm going to, this is how I do it. I'm going to set it down on the mat here, and I'll just fold it over and make sure that it's on there. Sometimes I'll take my bone folder, because if there's any glue that happens to ooze out, I'm going to cut this excess off, and so then it won't be stuck on my envelope. And then you just take your long bladed scissors and you just cut off the excess there. And now you have a decorated envelope. And you can use the envelope as your guide when you're cutting. So it takes all the guesswork out, actually, as long as you cut straight. And there we have an envelope that is decorated for your card. And then, you know, you can write your message inside of the card, definitely. And then you can just slip it in here and it's ready to go in the mail. Now, this will not cost you any, you can just put one stamp on here and it'll be fine. It'll get where it needs to go anywhere in the U.S. So know that. Now, here's the one that goes with the card that I made previously. So we have 2 of that card. But I wanted to show you some other cards I made using this stamp set and some others. So let us just take a quick look. So here's another card I used, that same DSP. I made it a birthday card, and the difference that I made here was I used a tag instead of, like, this is the perennial postage dies. This is a tag, and we have several dies that make perfectly easy tags, and they make them in different sizes. So as you look through the catalog, that might be something you want to think about. I don't think it is a #1 priority, but if you like tags, and I do like tags, then you're going to probably at some point want to invest. And then I used this stamp set, and the reason I bought this stamp set is because it has images that will go for birthday, for wedding or anniversary, for graduation. And then it has a couple of sentiments that you can use. I kind of like that font. And so this is called Pocket Thoughts. This is, again, in the annual catalog. So this is great to have in your inventory. I just use it when, you know, I want to. But I like the cupcake, and then what I did is I stamped the whole cupcake, and then this is another part that goes on top, and I just colored it yellow. You could color it any color you want, either with your colored pencils or your alcohol markers. And then I did do a little bit of gray colored pencil. Actually, this I used my blending brushes and Daffodil Delight, and then I used my gray colored pencil to color the cup, that little paper cup that goes with the cupcakes. But you could use any color, and you can choose any of these colors that you want. And then what I did is I took the happy birthday sentiment from the Hey You stamp set, and I stamped it with my Versamark on black, and then heat embossed it on white. So that just gives it a little bit of a different, well, it's a different card, a different, you would send it for a birthday, right? So it just makes it a little different. The outside is different. But I didn't put any more embellishments on here. I do have some black thread on the tag. You definitely could do that. I just didn't feel that I needed it. If I was going to put an embellishment, I might put an adhesive dot maybe here on the tag. But I just think that is pretty, it's got a lot of movement. And then I did use the extra from, you know, when I cut this layer, I did use some extra, plus I used some of the from the Granny Apple Green. I did use a strip down here just to decorate the inside. So there's that. And then I did decorate the bottom of the, because I used this paper for the bottom, I didn't have enough to decorate the back of the envelope. So I did just put it on here. But I do want to say something about that. And that is, remember, this goes through that machine that has rollers. So you don't want anything that's going to get caught up, right? Because then it'll just get, well, that gets messy. So what I did is I did use the tear and tape. And I actually put 2 strips because I wanted this end and this end to be tightly secured. And that's the beauty of the tear and tape. The double-sided tape is that I was able to get 2 on there. So the front of the envelope is decorated, and this is good stuff, so it's not coming up. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you too. boy, I guess I have a lot to share. Thank you for sticking with me. I also wanted to say that I don't do a lot of Valentine's Day cards as far as saying be my Valentine kind of thing. But hearts can be used for anything, right? You can say I miss you, I love you. You can also, I mean, they're a basic shape, so you can use them for a lot of sentiment. So I took the Hey You. I did use my In the Spotlight dies, so they're circle dies, and I like this one, or I'm attracted to this one in particular because it cuts out a little bit of the edging and it makes it look like stitching. So I did use that, and I used some red designer series paper. Now this designer series paper isn't available. It actually was a gift given to demonstrators if they met a certain quota of sales. So, but I wanted to use it up and show you, you could use any red, even cardstock or any red designer series paper that you might have. But the idea is I used hearts to kind of give it that Valentine feel. And I will tell you that this card is something I would give to somebody I know very well and that is close to me, because it says, hey, good looking, and that's from the Hey stamp set, right? And inside it says, I love you. So, you know, I think that when you say directly to me, my opinion is when you say directly to somebody that you love them, that has to be meaningful. So as far as just giving a Valentine to anyone with those sayings is probably not something I would do. But anyway, here is that Valentine feel, and I'm going to show you what I use. Remember I said about the punches? And here is the punch I used to make those Valentines. So here's what I like about punches. I love dies too, don't get me wrong, but sometimes the punches are so easy because you just stick your paper in the back and you punch it and you get, you know, your design. So this has kind of like I want to say a little whimsical Valentine or heart, and then a smaller one. And so that's what I used for the outside of this card. And this is the same A2 size card that we used for all of these. I just turned it in a different direction. I used some of that designer. I cut it off a little bit. This is actually an inch and a quarter from the edge I cut off here so that you can see the base part that I've decorated. So just kind of a different way to use that same A2 size card. And then I did another card. Now this is the A2 card, right? I just turned it sideways. I used my tear and tape. I actually scored it at 5.5, and then I scored it at 4.5. And so then I took some tear and tape and I ran some ribbon underneath it, and I took the tear and tape to secure this, to adhere it down, so now it opens kind of like a book. So I think this is called the book fold. And then I used some purple designer series paper, and that purple designer series paper, it comes from a sheet of designer series paper that is in the perennial lavender designer series packet. Those come in 12 by 12 sheets. This is the opposite side, the opposite side. I haven't used this side a lot because I think I'm kind of thrown off by the background. But purple is my thing. I love purple. And so I can't wait for an opportunity to use it right. But I did use this side. Again, I used that same circle die with the word hey. And in this case, I put hey, thanks. And then I left this blank inside so I could write my message. I did put these little like sprigs, like leaf or bough sprigs. This is called the bow punch, but you get a small one and a larger one. And the nice thing about it is that you can use it on anything. So I used it at Christmas time. I used the smaller one to look a little bit like holly, And, you know, you can do any color. So I just kind of coordinate the colors with whatever the basic part that I'm using. And I did use some leftover ribbon that I've had for a while. This is kind of Highland Heather. Because it's leftover and it isn't Stampin' Up, I don't know where it came from. I've had it for a long time. I don't really know what the color is, but it goes well with the rest of the card, and I was able to use that up. Now, I have one more card to show you, and this card is a graduation card. I have that twine got loose and it's all over here. So this is, I just layered some white on some red and then on a black card base. Now this card base is an A2 size card as well, but when you're cutting it, I do want to show you, and I would score it at 4 1/4. Remember, score it at 4 1/4, and then I would rotate it and I would measure it up to 5 1/2, and then I would cut it. So that would give you that kind of card that opens like this, and you can use those in whatever way you want as well. So I did that in the basic black, and then off the front panel I just cut, kind of rounded that side off, and then I glued it on to the red layer that was layered with the white. And then this is a 2 by 2 square, and then this is like a 2 1/4 square of basic white, and I put the red square kind of you know, rotated it at a diagonal to replicate the top of a graduation cap, and then just put it on the white. And then I used, that's the this stamp set again, because it has the little diploma. I stamped the diploma, and then this that says congrats comes from the Hey You stamp set. And then on the inside, you're incredible. I just stamped that. That also comes from the, I'm sorry, it doesn't come from that. That comes from the, I want to double check here, the Happy Little Things stamp set. So, and then I just stamped the diploma again. So this one I stamped, cut out, and colored the ribbon, and this one I just stamped directly on here. Now I had this piece of red in here because, you know, at graduation a lot of times we like to give gift cards. So you could definitely use your tear and tape, and because it's so long, so I think your gift card is only going to be this much. You wouldn't even have to like fold the sides. You could just use a little tear and tape and put that little leftover here. I did use a circle punch to cut out this little pull spot. So you could put that in there for your gift card. And then you can write your message up here. You could also put another piece of basic white here if you wanted to write another message. This side is really up to you. I don't see a problem in just leaving it, but you could do whatever you wanted with it. And so here's a graduation card. So you can see all of those cards that were created mainly with the Hey You stamp set. And then I just pulled in some other stamp sets and other products from my craft space. So I hope that that you've enjoyed this video, and I want to thank you for joining me. I'll have the dimensions on my blog so that if you want to take a look and you want to create your own, then you definitely can do that. And then I definitely did want to encourage you to stop by. On Monday, I'm going to do, actually it might be Tuesday, I'm going to do a video where we look at the new Celebration at the Celebration catalog and the new mini catalog. So if you want to join me, then look forward to that. I did want to just offer a disclaimer, and that is I do my videos, they're pre-recorded. And so sometimes if something happens that so if I do the video on Tuesday, it doesn't necessarily mean that that video is going to be up on Tuesday, or I might do the video on Monday and upload it on Tuesday. So just so you know, I don't want you to feel, oh, she said it was going to be on Monday and it's not, because that can happen. So anyway, here's the Hey You and the Full of Life Designer Series paper. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll, try out that designer series paper and, just enjoy it. And so, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and, hit that icon so you'll be notified. And if you're watching via Facebook, then please consider following me. So thank you so very much for your time, and we'll see you again next week. Bye now.